Alright y'all, welcome back. It's Albert LaBelle, and we've got something to catch up on here, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you remember, on video number 458, we featured this 2006 Honda Accord door lock, and I showed you how we use this Lishi HON66 2-in-1. Now, when you buy one of these, it comes with these, what they call test keys, so that you can actually pick the lock, decode it, and make a working key. Okay, and I said we only picked a lock on that video, so I said I'd learn how to make a key and we'd revisit this. Well, now's the time. Okay, so what I did is after picking this lock, I learned how to decode it and make a working key. So how I did that was, again, I decoded it. So first of all, there's the keys for this lock. Now these keys, if you notice for these Hondas, it's like two keys in one. You see this front side, and then the back side. It's like two keys sandwiched on that part in the middle, okay? But Lishi thought of everything, okay? That's why they made the test keys in 3 pieces. What you have is a front blade, or test key, and then you make a separate one for the back so they're easy to cut. Then you sandwich them on this center piece. Everything clicks into place because they put these little dimples or half shears in there, and then they put the holes in here. So everything just kind of pops into place. Grab that back one, pop that one on, and bada boom, bada bang, it works like a charm. So I'm going to show you. We're going to step it up, okay? So that is how I made a working key for that lock. So I'm going to put this one aside. We need that centerpiece, though. We'll need that centerpiece. All right, so let me put these aside. So, anyways, this is how I decoded it. All right, that's the decode, but we're going to step it up. All right, because check it out. I found out on these door locks, they've only got 6 of the wafers in these things. Okay, that's why all these are 1s in that position here. So I decided to step it up. So I went ahead and let's get this out of here, and those keys out of here. I went ahead and got the ignition lock. 2006 Honda Accord ignition lock. Same idea on the keys. They're double-sided. As you can see right there, and that's the keys for this ignition. Okay, I'm guessing that's the on position, probably start, back to on, and then off. Alright, so we're going to pick, decode, and make a key for this lock. So this is going to be sort of a lengthy video. I'll try to keep it as short as I can, but there's a lot of work involved here, and I'm going to try to walk you through it. Okay, so using all Lishi tools, we're also going to use the Lishi key cutter to make the key, to cut the key. All right, you remember this? Okay, so there is the ignition lock. There are the keys for it, the real keys. So what we're going to do first is we're going to pick the lock with the Lishi 2-in-1. Okay, 2-in-1 meaning it's the pick and decoder. Now these are designed because, again, the key is double-sided. So these have a front, what I call front finger, and a back finger. Okay? And I'll explain more of that when I show you how I decoded it. So first we need to pick the lock. So I'm going to pop this in there. All the way in, hopefully. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring you all in a little bit here. Maybe that'll do. Okay, so we're all the way in. We're going to put a little bit of rotational tension on it, and we're going to start picking, okay? I'll start with the back finger. You want to go slowly and carefully. Now, you don't want to force any of these, okay? When you're using this type of tool, because if you start bending these, you'll never be able to use the decoder because they're going to be all out of whack, and you don't want that. So don't force nothing. Just have patience, walk through it a few times if you have to. Don't bend them, all right? So again, I'm on the back finger. A little tiny something there. to the front finger. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to let off tension a little bit so I don't bend it. There we go. So again, don't force anything. There we go. Let off tension a little bit. There we go. Back to the back finger. There we go. Nice. Okay, we just picked that lock. Okay, now we don't want to rotate it too far. If you rotate too far, it's going to relock. Then you won't be able to decode it. You'll have to pick it again to bring it back. So I'm going to keep it right here, and I'll show you how I decoded it. Okay? So remember, we got the front finger. Now, the front finger, if you notice on here, let me zoom in again. This front finger, it's got an A and B on it. The A is up, B is down. But really, I call the A down because we're concerned with the working end over here. Okay? The other end. We're concerned with this end because that's what's picking the lock. So I call A down on the front and B up because that's how we're moving the sliders. And then if you notice, the back one is opposite. The back one's got a B up there and an A on the bottom. So B on the back is down and A is up. Okay? That's how I wrote down the code. And I'll explain this in a minute. Or actually, I'm going to explain it right now. So I need to back off a little bit. Okay, so the way I walked through it, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, we'll just put this down here. So again, don't go too far with this. We want to keep it right where it is. So I'm just going to show you a couple of these, okay? So on the front finger, the A, we've got a 1. Okay, so I forgot to mention something. These keys, if you notice on these, what they call test keys, that 5th position on the Lishi 2-in-1, we aren't concerned with that one, okay? We're only concerned with 4, 3, 2, and 1, okay? I believe this 5th position, I could be wrong, maybe a locksmith can help us out here. But these, I believe, are always the same, and it may have something to do with key control. I'm not sure. But we don't need to be concerned with the 5th position on this 2-in-1. Okay? That's why they've already got these basically cut for you. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to skip to 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we'll notice on the 4th position on the front, we've got a 1 down, and I don't know if you'll be able to see those little numbers, but it's a 5 on the up. So 1 down, 5 up. That's how I wrote it down. D for down and U for up. So that's how I went through it. The front finger. For down, we've got 1, 3, 1, 1. So the front finger for down, which is this way, we've got 1, 3, 1, 1. Okay, so that is how I came up with this. Just going through these and decoding it. And then the back finger, I did the same thing. So I'll just show you the top one. So for the back finger, down we got 1, 3, 1, 4. So the back finger, we're going to have 1, 3, 1, 4. Okay? And that is all you need to do. Just go through these carefully again. Don't rotate that back into locked again or you won't be able to decode it. You'll have to repick it to bring it back. Alright, so using this code now that I got from that Lishi 2-in-1, we can cut a working key. Alright, so let me get this back out before I relock it. Alright. Carefully. Alright. Bada boom, bada bang. Tell you what, we can leave that there. Now, we're going to need some of these test keys here. Keep these flat. That's why I have tape around them. Alright? You want to keep everything as flat as you can. Alright? So we're going to grab 2 of these test keys. Two of them. Tape these back up so they stay flat. Alrighty, bada boom, bada bing, baby. Now, we're going to use the Lishi key cutter. I'll tell you what, let me get some of this out of the way. Alright, we're just going to bring you down. Alright, because this can get a little tricky. So, hopefully you can see this. Alright, so, using these keys, now we're going to have to mark one, well I do. I'm going to mark one just with some black marker, maybe it'll stay inside here. That's going to be our front, okay? Hopefully it'll go into that scribe on there. Okay, so using the code that we just got from decoding it, okay? We're going to have the front blade with these codes here. We're going to use these codes here for the back blade, alright? So, easy breezy. Let me put some specs on so I can see as good as y'all. Alright, so again, the front key. Now, the ones on this code are no cut. The way they have these scribed, a 1 is going to be no cut. Let me flip that over. You see how they have them scribed? So as far as depth goes, a 1 you don't cut. They've also got scribes going this way for spacing. Now that is highly important. That is where the Lishi key cutter comes into play because we're going to have to use that center line right there. It's very important. That's how we're going to line up for the spacing where they have it marked there. Okay? See the spaces there? You want to line those up really good. Okay, so let's start decoding. This is the front blade. Now remember, this one's going to go this way. The back one, the scribe is going to go out. We'll get to that because the key also needs to be able to be flipped over. So let's cut this front blade real quick. We've got on the front, so down, remember on the front, down is going to be this way because it's going to pull the sliders down. So 1, 3, 1, 1. Starting at this end, we ignore these first 2. 1, 3, 1, 1. So 1 we don't cut. 3. And 1, 1, so we don't cut. Okay? So for up, we got 5, 1, 4, 1 up here. So we're going to do 5, 1, 4, 1. Five, 1, Trying to see. Making sure that line is lined up. 4, 1. Again, 1 we don't cut. Okay, so we just cut that front blade. That easy. Okay, now we're going to move to the back blade. These numbers down here. So again, this key, the back one's going to go that way. So remember to keep that in mind. The orientation is very important. Trust me on that, okay? Took me a couple days to unscramble all this. Okay, so the back down is here. So we've got 1, 3, 1, 4. So on the bottom we want 1, 3, 1, 4. 1's no cut. Three, 1, 4. One, 3, 1, 4. Okay, now for the up, 5, 1, 5, 1. That's going to be up here. Five, 1. Five, 1. Okay, now another tricky part, okay? Remember we've got the front blade and the rear blade, but remember, when the key is like this, okay, look at the original key. It can also be rotated over and still work, alright? So, what I'm going to do is take the back blade and simply put it over the front, keeping all the scribes facing me. Sandwich them together. Again, those half shears are going to make everything click, okay? Keep them lined up real good. Now we're going to go back through and make the back cuts and the front cuts match each other, okay? So I'm just going to go back through, nip it, nip it, and do the same thing with the other blade. There we go. Now, if I did everything right, it's going to work. Let me grab that. Oops, let me set that right there. Let's bring the door lock back in. Keep those right there so you can see them. Well, let's bring that up. So we grab our blades here that we just cut, okay? Now we need that centerpiece, remember? Part that goes in the middle. We're going to take that one we marked for the front. Make sure it clicks together. Back one on the back. Just like that. Now, if we did everything right, just like that. How straightforward is that? And it should work if we flip it over. Oh, got something off a little bit. Oh, there it goes. So sometimes, just keep in mind, sometimes these do slide a little bit. They don't click in real good, but you get the idea. How straightforward was that? We just used the Lishi 2-in-1 to decode this lock, to pick this lock, decode it. Then we used the Lishi key cutter to actually cut a working key. How awesome is that? So yeah, it did take me a couple days to figure all this out. Finally, the light bulb came on, and I figured out what I was getting wrong. I was mixing up the up, down, down, up for the back and the front blade because they're flipped over. But that is how that is done. So if you'd like, now I'm not saying this is exactly how to do it. This is how I figured out how to do it, and obviously it works. So if you'd like, you can kind of use my the way I did it here. Maybe it'll work for you. Obviously, you're going to come up with different numbers for your lock, but maybe you can use the same way I wrote it down here. All right, so anyways, I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. I think Lishi tools are fantastic because, again, they thought of everything. So you've got the 2-in-1, you've got the pick, you've got the decoder. They made the test keys that come with this set in a way that you can cut them using the Lishi key cutter. Okay, otherwise, trying to cut a key like this would be really tough. I don't even know how you would cut something like that at home. I don't have tools that would do that. Some kind of maybe a router. I'm not sure. But the way they design these, absolutely simple with a tool like this. Alright, so anyways, there it is. That's how it works. As you can see, it worked just fine for me. Show you that one last time, how I wrote it down. Maybe you can try that. Remember to keep your front and your back separate, and remember the back is going to be flipped the other way. Okay? So there you go. That's it. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and remember, if you're not subscribed yet, you need to do so because all the cool people are doing it. And hey, if you want to see more cool stuff like this, you got to subscribe. Alright? Thank you.